We're talking about progressing body weight squats to build more muscle and strength. Refer again to my table of progressive elements. This is something I've made a cornerstone of book 2 of the Red Delta project that I've been throwing together. And for body weight squats, we'll be primarily using the range of tension element, centerline element, and weight shifting element to progress our squats. Here's the basic rundown of how we're gonna do this. Number 1 is start playing around with deep squats with some sort of support, suspension trainers, using a bar or a countertop, whatever you can find. What you're doing with this is you're able to work on keeping tension in your glutes and hips, quads, and even your calves, your entire leg chain, through the full range of motion. Very top standing position to the very bottom. And this allows you to have a little bit of weight on your hands, so that way you don't have to necessarily have it all in your legs. You can really work on the mobility, flexibility, balance that you need for your squats. From there, you can go with not holding on to anything. So practicing classic two-legged squats for a full range of motion, as low, as high as you can. A lot of times people get confused and think that this is limited by the range of motion in the ankle joint, which can happen, but more often than not, it's more limited by your range in your hips, being able to really stretch out your glutes and your hamstrings as you get into the deep squat. I tell my clients, imagine like you're trying to split the seams of your pants, like you're trying to just spread out your shorts as much as possible when you squat down. That tends to loosen things up a little bit. From here, using the centerline element, work towards squatting with your legs closer together until you can squat with your knees and your feet together. Once again, you can also progress this with, or regress it a little bit with some sort of support like a TRX or countertop. But this is teaching you how to have a lot more mobility, strength, and tension control at the bottom of the range of motion. Once you can get this without any sort of assistance, you can get really low, then we can start shifting the weight onto a single leg. I found personally for me that it's better to have a little bit of assistance on the arms. So once again, we have either the bar that we're holding on to, or a post, or a TRX, so that we can learn how to get that deep range without twisting around, tension control in the hips, tension control in the core and the side of the hip as well, keeping the knee and the foot on the center line, and having a lot of ability in order to get low with control and tension at the bottom. Remember, it's range of tension, not just range of motion. You're working on keeping tension here. The more proficient you get at this, the less assistance you need from your arms. So you can have one arm on the Smith machine or onto a post. You can grab lower. That also makes it a little bit more difficult. Or you can have less of a solid grip with your hands, like grabbing on with a number of fingers instead of a death grip with your hand. From there, eventually get to the point where you don't have hardly any assistance with your arms, and now you're on to squatting down with your legs. Now, a lot of times people will look at this and think that's the end of the road. But this is just the beginning when it comes to your squats. Once you can proficiently squat on one leg, double digits, very little wobble, very stable and strong and controlled, then what you can do is start working on bringing your hands closer to your chest. Remember, this is the weight shifting element. We've shifted all of our weight onto one leg. Now we can shift even more weight backwards onto the back leg, so it's not pulling us forward quite as much. So bringing your hands together and pulling your hands closer together until they're across your chest, which is going to be more difficult. Even hands behind your head or even behind your back are some of the more advanced single leg squats that you seldom see these days. A lot of people are quick to jump onto weight, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can add weight to any body weight exercise, but I encourage you to not add weight until you can comfortably do it with your hands close to your chest, so you're holding the weight against your chest, something like a kettlebell, a weight plate. You'll find that's gonna challenge your squatting leg a lot more than if you're holding it out to the front, which can actually make it a little bit easier. So there you go, general progressive elements used to enhance your leg training with body weight squats. Tomorrow we'll be talking about progressive elements used in pull-ups. Questions down below. Be fit, live free.